Hello from Cuba.
Hola.
Oh no,
Donde
you're gonna do
Cuba?
this?
No, donde is where? De Cuba.
Where de Cuba? Okay,
I said
let's.
donde instead
So
of from.
we did like daily
Journaling.
journaling, like video wise, when we were in Scotland, Ireland, the UK, like 2 years ago actually. 2 years ago, like next week, I think.
I know you've missed us.
Yeah, I know we haven't done this in a while. So today is this morning, since it's like 12:15 in the a.m. on the 16th of December, 2016. We have to like catch up because it's been a while.
We've been slacking.
Yeah, we wanted to do this every day. No, we didn't do it at all, and it didn't help that like I came a day early. So I flew in. I started my flight on the 10th at 10:50. 10:50? 30. From San Diego to Fort Lauderdale. Got there Sunday. Flew here Sunday morning. Got here at like 9:30. Checked into the hotel somewhere around lunch-ish. And I the first couple nights we were at the Sheraton Four Points, which is the first big box hotel here in Cuba.
As of like 2 months ago.
Yeah, and I did that not because I'm a yeah. I could almost said porn there. Like pointor. But going it kind of into the unknown, I at least wanted to be able to go back to a place where I had like internet, and I could do some things, and I knew, a lot of like foreigners would be staying there, I guess. Even though once you get here, there's foreigners in like every hotel here, because of those are pretty much people only staying at the hotels. And we thought by staying there first, we could logistically work things out. Once we were here to do like Airbnb and go in other places and stay in other cities, but come to find out, like once you're here, like Airbnb, homestay, and a bunch of other things don't work. You can't book them from here.
At least not with a U.S.
Yeah, I mean, it ended up working out because I have a VPN on my computer and I could get things done, but to keep it easier, and because the internet here is kind of questionable, and we'll get into that, I sent a friend of mine my username and password, and they logged in and booked where we are now, which was a huge help. So shout out to Linda, I appreciate your help. And because you would think I'm a Sheraton Platinum member, I usually get unlimited internet, their fastest speed because they have a tiered system. But when you get here, internet is such an issue leaving the island that I only got 4 hours a day at the Sheraton, and you pretty much every hour you have, you can get like maybe 5 or 10 minutes of actual work done, because it kicks you off, then it gets disconnected, then it drops, and then when you're about to click whatever you need, it like disconnects again, and you have to start the process over. So it's cool to do like quick things, jump on, get some email done, download some email, and that's about it. Send a couple text messages out, and that's about it. So it's good in like short bursts, but even sometimes when you do get internet access, it's not the greatest. Like email will work, but internet won't. But text messages will. And then sometimes you'll get everything at once from like 3 days ago, like text messages you were sending me. Even though I was getting messages back and forth from people like real time. So don't count on like internet while you're here, is I guess what you're trying to say. And I'm going to do a comprehensive...
Which I told him that before we came, but he didn't listen.
Yeah, I thought it would be a little bit better because people in the Sheraton review said the internet was decent. So I thought maybe the first couple nights in a big box hotel we could kind of work the rest out, but we ended up having to stay an extra night just trying to like work this out. Plus we kind of got up a little late that morning, which didn't help. But the Sheraton was awesome, for what it is. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like 5 stars because they just purchased the hotel. They're still like painting, remodeling, upgrading, yard work kind of thing. and it was one of 3 places they purchased. But on a huge shout out, the day of my birthday, we went out to a birthday dinner, which was extremely overpriced, but that's okay. They left a birthday cake in the room for me, and I've spent probably at least 10 years of my life like on the road, traveling in a hotel away from friends and family, like celebrating my birthday like on my own. In fact, I think I spent my 35th birthday in Cuba and Guantanamo Bay. Like I think I was there doing military contracting work, government contracting work. I spent one in Hawaii. I think the first year we met, I was in Hawaii alone. Yeah, in fact I was, because I met 2 friends there that I knew on the island. So I've done my fair share.
Can we pause this?
No, we'll keep going. And
Okay, because we're getting way off.
that's
track,
fine.
and
This will
is
probably
gonna
be like
take-
30 minutes, and we're only 5 minutes into it. It's
It's
fine.
probably gonna take
That's
an
fine.
hour.
So, shout out for them for like leaving me a cake. It was actually a very good cake. So the first day I was here, I just kind of wandered around where the Sheraton's at. There's a bunch of embassies on that road. So almost every embassy, you could say that's like International Boulevard, because all the embassies were there. And then when Kelly flew in Monday, she finally got here about 2 o'clock. Do you want to go into that story a little bit? What you
Like
laugh
4
at?
o'clock.
4 o'clock. I was trying to help her out a little bit.
I was supposed to arrive the same time Rich arrived
That's
Sunday
nice.
morning, Monday morning. But it would be very wise of you, for those traveling to Cuba, to bring a credit card, a U.S. credit card, so that you can still pay for things in the U.S. prior to leaving, like your visa
Fees.
that you need in order to board the plane to go to Cuba.
Yeah, she forgot her. So I used Wells Fargo, changed all our money into euro, because if you bring U.S. dollars to Cuba, it's like a 12% tax before you even do any money conversion. So the best money at the time was euro, dollars for euro, and I used Wells Fargo to do that because there's no charge. And she left her credit card because she swapped purses and left her credit card there. And they don't take euros to pay for her visa. And the money place didn't open until
8,
And what time was your flight?
7:54.
So you
I actually thought my flight didn't leave till 9, so I thought I had some wiggle room.
there was no
and
wiggle
then I
in that
saw
room.
that my plane departed, and I said, "What just happened?"
So hopefully we can get in touch with JetBlue, because they kind of charged her a flight fee to go there. So I think we can work that out. So
Anyway.
so Tuesday, we got a little bit of a late start, but that was okay. It was only my birthday. Sorry.
Monday.
Yeah, Monday was my birthday.
So
I'm
you
digging
said
the ribs
Tuesday.
there. We did some things downtown, in downtown Havana. Walked around.
Old Havana.
Old Havana. Went to a place to eat. Walked around and took a taxi back to the
Would you want
hotel.
to explain where we went?
Horidito,
Well,
Horidito.
first of all, we got a taxi ride. Every taxi that you get from Sheraton is probably a 20 kook ride. Kook
20
is
bucks.
the Cubano version of $1.
Mhm.
Because the Sheraton, the 4-Point Sheraton, is not in a very convenient location if you're wanting just to do like downtown Havana.
Yeah. About
It's a
15-minute
bit
ride.
out of the
Took
way.
15-minute ride.
Correct. So it's not walking distance to really anything. So we take a taxi ride. It drops us off near Old Havana along the Malecon, which is the road that runs along
Very nice.
the water. It's very cool.
Everyone hangs out up there at night.
Yes. And so we go into Old Havana and we see signs for certain places that we want to check out. One of them being La Bodeguita del Medio, which is the original bar where mojitos were created, and mojitos is a big, big drink in Cuba. So
Buy them on the street out of a little cart thing.
so we went, and of course we had to have our first drink there. We had them
$10 or so. I think it's $10.
$10 for 2,
Not bad.
or 10 cooked for
About
2.
the average price.
So that was really good.
And then we walked from there to the Florida, right?
Correct. So then we kept strolling through, and we didn't have a map. That's another thing. You
No
guys
one has
should
maps here.
Not even the hotels.
Yeah. Luckily, I downloaded Google Maps offline. Huge help. Shout out to Google.
But I would suggest actually maybe getting
A
map of Cuba, of detailed Havana, of points of interest.
Another thing you can do is create a map of things you want to do in Google and download it to your own map that you create so you can use on your phone offline. It's a huge, huge help. Something we didn't think about, but that's okay. That's fair.
So as we kept strolling, we went to another famous bar, Bar Floridita, and it is known for their daiquiris.
Had two of those.
And we had two of those.
$12.
I thought it was 16.
I don't think so. Jesus.
Oh, it was a little bit more expensive.
Yeah.
than the other place.
And it was a bigger place, bar. I mean, they had like a band playing.
Live music.
Bunch of taxis out
both
front.
Both bars are where Ernest Hemingway frequented quite a bit while he lived here. So I think that's kind of why, aside from the mojito place, why they're so popular, just because it attracted quite a few celebrities.
The Florida was definitely more packed, I think.
Well, it was bigger.
Sure. I mean, I guess they were packed equally. And then from there, we went back to the hotel, or did we go from there?
So we met up back with our taxi guy. We arranged for him to meet us back in an hour, and then he took us to a recommended restaurant that I had also researched that we should go to. It was called El
Guajarita? Yeah.
Guajarita, which is in a location that you wouldn't think there would be a restaurant.
You would think someone died out front on the street.
It was a very dark,
chained street, like chains
off.
on each end of the street.
I mean, then once you got out front, there was a few people sitting there.
Guy
you
in a
had
suit,
to walk
it's kind
up
of weird.
3 flights of stairs. And it wasn't even that busy, but apparently there's a show side where you can sit and watch a show, probably like cabaret, and then there's the dinner side, and we just did the dinner side. Definitely tailored to tourists, though.
Right.
A little pricey in comparison to some of the other places we've tried.
Sure. The brief thing about food in Cuba is there's like 4 or 5 squares where people hang out, and all those squares are pretty much connected by roads that you can walk down that are pretty wide. It's like street wide, like think European street. And in each square, there's people selling goods, and there's places to eat. Think of those places as like the more expensive places to eat. But as soon as you get off one of these main streets that connects like 2 parks, and you make like a right or a left and kind of go down like half a block or so, there'll literally be a door open with like 8 tables in it, and you'll pay like 1/5 the price. Like you can get like chicken and rice and a beer for like $8, and we're talking like a big plate of rice with like half a chicken on it. Whereas if you get that in one of these main squares, it's probably double or triple, like $15 or $20. Like the Airbnb place we're staying at has a Cuban restaurant underneath. I had lobster with my own plate of rice with veggies for $8. Like that's cheap. I mean, you had the barbecue chicken?
Just chicken and tomato.
Chicken and tomato stew, which was super good, with rice, and hers was $6. $5 or $6. It's crazy. So, like, don't be afraid to venture 1 or 2 or 3 blocks off, because it's a big grid, but there's just bigger roads, bigger streets that you can walk down connecting the parks. So that's my like huge takeaways. Don't eat on those main thoroughfares. It's alright to grab like a coffee or a piece of corn on a stick with spices on it. Super good. Those are cheap. You know, street churros, but get like away from the city square.
I mean, definitely go and look around,
sure.
But I think you'll
100%.
find some better options for food and cheaper options.
What time are we at? Oh, good. And then Tuesday, was that the day trip?
We really wanted to go scuba diving down at the Bay of Pigs, which is probably a 2-hour, maybe 3-hour drive from here.
Bay of Pigs.
So south.
Yeah.
But the issue with planning this trip somewhat last minute is that there are no rental cars available. Like, they sell out really quickly, which is interesting.
And they're expensive. If you want one for like a day, it's like 100. From 2 to 4 days, it was like 70.
Yeah.
65 or 70. And then after like 4 or 5 days, you get like a little bit of a break, like $50. And they're just super expensive here. And gas is $1.30 a liter. Just put that out there.
But instead we, after learning that it would be quite hard, because we also asked around about buses or tours that actually go there, and really there's nothing from Havana to what's called either Playa Larga or Playa Giron, which are both cities on the Bay of Pigs. There's really nothing that will take you there. So unless you pay a private taxi, which would probably have costed
like $200.
But yeah, 200. However, we ended up paying $150 for
a 2-hour taxi ride or close to it.
A private taxi that was 2 hours there, 2 hours back to another tourist destination in Cuba called Veradero, which is known for its white sandy beaches.
Really nice.
It's what is it, east
Yeah,
of
it's
Havana?
like an isthmus that comes out into the ocean.
But we got lucky because we were trying to catch the free shuttle into town to catch a taxi to take us to Veradero, but the shuttle took off like early.
Yeah, go figure. Usually it's late, but no, it left like 5 minutes early.
Yeah, so we asked kind of like the bellhop guy if he had any friends that he knew.
Yeah. Suggestion number 2, no matter where you stay, sweet talk the bellman, get in good with him. If you're going to stay in the same place a week, and be like, look, here's my schedule for the week. Do you have a guy? Do you have a friend? Because if you use the Friends network here, you can barter a little bit. And everything here is about barter, and everyone here that wants to make money hustles. Everyone on the street is trying to sell you something, sell you cigars, sell you food, get you in their restaurant. But if a taxi person has to hustle, they have to drive around or park in a place. So he got on his cell phone, and he's like, hey, I got a guy who's going to be here in 10 minutes. And he rolled up, and you know, we negotiated a price, $150, and we had him from like 10:30, 10:45 to like 7 or 8. So he found us a place to eat. He took me, Kelly, and the dive person we dove with to the dive site, then back into Veradera, and then didn't we stop in a place on the way back, or no? Did we go straight through?
Well, we ate before we left, and then we were able. So where we actually dove was about 20 minutes out of Veradera to this place called the Coral Reef, or Playa Coral. And we'll talk about that in a second, but I really wanted to go see these white sandy beaches. So after dinner, we basically just walked across the street.
We were like 1 block south.
Yeah, and through some trees
and it's funny, Veradera is more
of
a tourist destination. Well, there's probably more hotels per capita, but it's like 2 hours east. There's nothing out there. But the place we went to eat was pretty cheap. I mean, your chicken cordon bleu was $8, and I can't remember what I had, but we got out of there with like 2 beers and coffee, I think for right around $20. Like, and it was tourist. I mean, there was hotels right down the street, so I think that was a cool place. And we dove through Vera Divers, Vera, and their shop is diving was literally right behind the restaurant. So there was a Cuban restaurant here, and an Italian restaurant here, and Vera Diving was right in the parking lot right behind the place. Highly recommended for a 1-tank dive, gear, and the instructor, even though we're both certified, to kind of guide us was $100.
Yep. Total.
And our dive was pretty good. It was about 10 feet to 30 feet, so nothing crazy. I consider it very close to like diving in Guam, because there's like alleys coming out of the water of coral reefs, so you just pretty much swam down an alley. But it was pretty good, about a 50-minute dive. Wasn't bad. Saw a baby barracuda at the end, some lobster, two schools of small fish cruising around the.
There's a big school as we were coming up like the little canyon. There's like.
I can't remember what kind of fish they are. They're kind of black looking. I can't
black
recall
with
the name.
yellow.
Saw a flounder at the end, just a little baby flounder, maybe about this big. So a couple puffer fish. It was a good dive. I enjoyed it. I mean, I've seen much better, but I liked it. It was a good dive. A good, easy dive.
I haven't dove in like 2
Right.
years, and it's only my like.
And the water was
15th
warm. It
dive,
was 78, I
I was
think.
pleased.
But
It's nice
I
to be
liked
diving
it.
in warmer water.
Yeah. Having dove the Caribbean before a couple times, and Hawaii and Guam, it's more closer to Guam, I think, than Hawaii. But I really liked it. Really liked it. So then we came back here. I think we ate at the hotel that night. And I think we just crashed out.
Yeah, I think we maybe grabbed a coffee. We've been drinking coffee like no matter the time
Best
of
coffee
day.
here.
Cafe con leche.
I had cafe
Cordito.
corradito.
Which is basically mine's coffee with milk and his is
It's
espresso with milk.
Little cup. Here's a little bit bigger
But
cup.
no sugar required.
No, not sure. I put sugar
So
in one
good.
just to try it because their sugar here is really good. You don't need sugar. Like, it wasn't super bitter. It was just really super good. In fact, I hope on the way to the airport tomorrow we can grab a bag. So that brings us to Wednesday. Yesterday. So Wednesday we checked out of our hotel because we had an Airbnb. Shout out again to Linda for helping us out. But we went on a day tour to Vinales.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to leave our bags there. Again, 2.5-hour tour bus ride into tobacco country, I think is in essence how you could sum that up. On the way there, we stopped at...
We did a lot.
Yeah, we did a lot. On the way there, we stopped at 2 places. The first place was a rum factory, where, of course, rum is from here. Super cool place, and you'd never know. You walk down a street and there's a door with a sign that says rum over top, and it's a huge factory behind it. And by huge, I mean like the average size U.S. house. Maybe 2 U.S. houses. Maybe 3,000 square feet, 2,000 square feet. They're washing bottles over here, and they reuse bottles because you can't really make a lot here. There's not a lot of ore, not a lot of ability here to like make glass. So they reuse like everything here. So there were like guys washing it when you first got in. Next to that was like bottling. Next to that was like storage. And the back was like fermentation. And up front was a shop selling different kinds of rum. Had our first Cuban Red Bull. And then we bought some cigars there. Because supposedly cigars there are a little cheaper.
They're like 50% cheaper in the Vinales region. Apparently only because that's where the tobacco country is. So we took advantage of those deals just because.
And then
why not?
From there, it was about another hour to a cave where we climbed through a cave.
Cuevas del Indio.
So we went through a cool cave, got to the bottom of the cave, and then took a boat through the cave and came out the side, which is pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, very.
And then we had lunch there. Again, like a plate of fruits, a plate of beans, a plate of potatoes, a plate of vegetables, and a plate of
chicken and pork.
Yeah, different kinds of chicken.
Like a fruit cup at the end.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was mango. I think it was mango. So then from there we get on a bus, went to a tobacco farm. Kind of cool. So the way it works here is 90% of the product that you make goes to the government. They give you like fair market value, but from those they make like Cohiba, Monte Cristo, Romeo and Juliet, and all the various big name. And what you're left with is like your farm's brand of tobacco. So the guy's farm we went to, super cool guy, goats, chickens, pigs, rabbits, cats, dogs, turkeys, all running around. He mixed his with like honey, cinnamon, and molasses to make his
sugar.
To make his tobacco. So we bought some of those because they smelled like a little sweeter. The tobacco was just a little bit sweeter.
Because with the 10% they don't give to the government, they're allowed to do a second fermentation.
Yes.
Of the tobacco leaves, and that's where all the different flavors.
And like every farm kind of has their own blend, if you will. And they were pretty cheap, like $1.50 each or something. Where if you buy like
$10,
a Monte Cristo, like $20 each. And then we went from there to Lookout Point.
No, we went to the prehistoric mural.
Oh, that's right, prehistoric mural.
Big rock wall that's painted in pretty colors of what looks to be like maybe hieroglyphics or dinosaurs or
something.
It's kind of cool.
Had a pina colada there. Whoa.
Pina.
Yeah, you know. Pina colada.
It was like
super
the
good.
Best thing we've ever had in
seriously,
our entire life.
It was like vanilla bean ice cream blended up. It was so good.
I want one right now.
I know, right? So then from there we went to like Lookout Point, Makeout Point.
We stopped in the town of Vinales just to kind of walk around a little bit.
And what's funny is a lot of like tourists there. A lot of people go there at like Airbnbs or and stay there for like a week. A lot of people.
They call them Casa Particulares.
Yeah, Casa Particulares.
So you're able to basically rent out your house or your room through sites like Airbnb. And it's a tourist destination just because it's so beautiful there, but it's also conveniently located to other good diving spots, scuba diving spots.
And then from there we went to Lookout Point.
Yes, because
kind of
from
cool.
there
and it just looks out over the valley. Cool. There was a hotel there.
There was a bull.
I tried to get her to ride a cow. It was just a big cow with horns, but how often do you get to ride a cow with horns?
Felt bad for it.
Yeah, big cow though. That thing would hurt.
Yeah.
And then we got on a bus and drove back here.
And slept.
Yeah. Funny thing is, I nudged her on the bus and I'm like, babe, if you sleep now, you're gonna have problems later. And she goes, I'll be fine, and rolled back over. Funniest thing.
And I was fine.
So then we got back here to the hotel, grabbed a taxi to the Airbnb, ate food downstairs, super good. That was when I had the lobster, she had the chicken. Took a shower and that off button was off because we didn't get up this morning. It was this morning till like 9. I got up at 8 and I was like, babe, you getting up? There was not a lot of movement going on.
No, he told me to turn off the 8 o'clock alarm, so I did.
And then
there was a 9 o'clock alarm.
I think we turned that off too.
And I turned that one off.
I think we finally started moving at like 9:30.
We got up at 11.
9:30, we're close.
It was a much deserved sleeping in.
Yeah. And then we literally went downstairs and had
eggs.
We shared eggs and a plate of rice and beans and 2 coffees for under $10, which compared to the other plate restaurants around here are pretty expensive. And her plate was a normal sized plate, edge to edge with eggs.
Good stuff.
And it was good.
It was like scrambled with meat or ham and cheese.
It was super good.
Yeah.
Coffee, super good. I could drink that damn coffee every night.
We're gonna go home and learn how to steam.
Yeah, I know. I need to figure out how they make the coffee here. Super good.
It probably starts with the bean.
And almost every place you go to, at least where I've had coffee, it all tastes the same. Only one place that we went to is a little bitter. And I think that was at the cave.
Because it had no leche in it.
But super good. So today we walked around. We walked to all the squares in Havana.
Walked to the Capitol.
We went to the Revolution Museum, which is all about Che and Fidel, how they saved the people. We can all have our own opinions on that.
How they see the people? I think it was more about how the revolution started.
Yeah.
Which was, interestingly enough, the museum is located in the former presidential palace.
Yes.
Which is where their first attack
right.
was.
And there's like bullet holes in the wall.
Yeah, they kept those.
Yeah, it's weird. And then out back is
the Grandma
the
Memorial.
Grandma Memorial, which is the boat that he used to go from Mexico to Cuba to start the revolution.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, boat was made in the U.S. Just a little tit for tat. Go figure.
Viva los Estados Unidos.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So, we got in a little trouble. We were walking around with water outside. I don't know why.
But apparently, at the memorial, you can't have water, even though it's a boat. You
Yeah,
can't have water.
I don't get it.
So we had to chug our water real fast.
Yeah, I kind of looked at a guy and went like this and pointed at other people. And Kelly was like, oh, shit, here's where the problems start.
Yeah.
But he just goes, no water. And I was like, oh, well, can I just throw it away? And he's like, no, across the street. And I'm like, because there's a trash can right next to us. So anyway. And then we saw like an original Land Cruiser, Jeep, and a Land Rover from those time periods that looked pretty good compared to other cars. So then we walked around to the 5 boroughs, if you will, through the city, had some food, had some street food, had some street cake, street ice cream,
Did some souvenir
shopping, Cuban cigars. Actually, we already bought those. How much time do we have? Oh, 31 minutes. We're fine. So to like summary wrap up, we fly out tomorrow morning. They told us to be here about 3, to be at the airport about 2 to 3 hours before. So we're gonna leave here at 7. Her flight's at
10:45.
and mine's like very shortly after.
11:30.
She goes to Fort Lauderdale. No, Miami.
Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale. I go to Orlando. Then she's off to San Diego. I'm off to DC Reagan. So I mean, my big takeaways are: don't be afraid to like venture a couple blocks off the main block to get food, especially in the middle of the day.
When you walk around, first of all, the infrastructure here is obviously it's improved from years past. Not that I've been here before, but you see dark alleyways and you think that there's nothing there.
Yeah, you think you're gonna die.
But really, there's people still hanging out.
Yeah.
There's the mom and pop trying to sell like homemade cakes.
Yeah, like we were walking down and we literally there's a guy sitting in a doorway in front of a little cake basket, and we bought a piece of like leche cake, vanilla milk cake.
Maybe like a chocolate
for like $1
filling.
For like a big, pretty decent sized cake. I mean, pretty decent
and
size.
It was like the best frosting I
we
ever
gave
had.
them $3 and we were
like
just
frosting.
a handful of change back, and we were like, what happened here? Like I'm confused.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them honestly haven't been in third world countries before. You will look down that road and you're gonna be like, oh, this is problematic. But no, like there's people walking. I mean, you'll see questionable looking people that you would think are questionable. No, they're probably going to their house because it's downtown. It's where like people live. It's just most houses are 2 or 3 stories here and look kind of beat up. But I mean, that's kind of like the way it is. So don't question. If you look down a light and in the distance you see like a neon sign, that's probably a restaurant. It's probably a pretty damn good restaurant. I mean, we saw street pizza today that you get your own thing for $3, $4 for like a pizza this big. Oh, and the guy's like eating it. You could see like the grease running down, and he's like, trying to not, and he's just eating as fast as he can. It looked really good. You can buy beer on the street for like $1.50. You can buy Miller Lite here for $1.50 on the street, or you can buy the Cuban beer for like $1.20. If I were to do it like all over again, I would have planned a little bit beforehand, like doing different tours and stuff before. But I mean, I think it worked out. For a first run, I think it's fine. Mm-hmm. Book Airbnb, if you need a big box hotel, maybe your first night and your last night. Make it like Hilton, I think, is moving here. Sheraton's are building a couple more, transitioning a couple more. Hotel Nacional. By the way, we did go there on Tuesday night after my birthday to have a mojito.
We had a mojito.
It overlooks the bay. It was good. And it was cheap. It was like for 2 mojitos and a thing of water, I think it was $11. $12. Wasn't bad.
Yeah, and then we went inside and had dessert.
Yeah, I went inside and had dessert, and that was cheap too. It's like
cheesecake, chocolate
mousse, and 2 coffees. I think it was $10. Maybe a little bit more. So don't be afraid to get off the beaten path. Book as much as you can in the U.S. because they don't take credit cards here. There's really no ATMs here, especially if you're from the U.S. Money exchange rates are almost the same at the airport as in any hotel, and any hotel will do a money exchange. So if you get a taxi at the airport, they will wait for you at your hotel for you to change money. Because I was super worried. I went to the information desk after standing in line upstairs, and the guy was like, no, downstairs. So I go to the information desk downstairs, and she's like, no, it's fine. You'll be able to go to your hotel. And I think it was a little bit more, like 10 cents, 5 cents for every dollar, a little better, but for my euro that I got. I came here with 900 euro. She had 800? You went at 800 euro? I think I have like 200 left, 250 left. How much do you have left? 200 left?
Probably.
And I ended up paying, $50. They charged me extra $50 to have her at the Sheraton, which was another story. I've never been charged another occupancy rate before, but I consider it a pretty successful trip.
A little bit different.
Yeah,
here.
but if you want a rental car, Airbnb, hotel, tours, book them all online. That way, when you get here, the only thing you're paying for is like food and consumables. I think that's my big takeaway. Yeah, souvenirs. So book everything online.
And everyone gets worried about the water.
Even Cubans don't drink the water. They all buy bottled water here.
However, we have yet to be hit with Montezuma's revenge. We've been using, we shower fine. We use the sink water for brushing our teeth.
I rinse my mouth out with bottled water, but yeah.
I don't. I'm fine. So, basically, anything, if you're drinking any water, you're going to be buying it. But for washing your hands, showering, brushing your teeth, you're fine. I also want to say that while Cuba might seem like a bit run down, they're some of the nicest people.
Yeah, we got picked up twice on the street. Once by a professor, and once by a lady with groceries.
And they're like, don't worry, we just want to practice our English.
Yeah, and we're walking for 10, 12 blocks, just chatting.
But some of the areas might seem sketch, just like we said, but it's because there's really not a whole lot of outdoor lighting.
Like none.
But I
maybe outside of a restaurant.
Was never really worried about getting pickpocketed, or I felt very safe.
I never had someone get in my space and touch me. Yeah. They would get close to you within a step or two trying to sell you something or hand you a menu or reach in and say cigars, food, women, whatever. But
you just say
everyone's trying to hustle here, because if you only make $10 a day working, but you can make $30, $40 a day, $50 a day hustling, people are going to hustle. People are going to hustle. It's just the way it is. And a lot of the taxis and hotels, big hotels, are going to take you to the restaurants they're friends with. So I encourage you to get off the beaten path, stay at a hostel. And most hostels are connected to a restaurant. Right above, be a hostel, below, restaurant. Best restaurants, I think, so far.
Mm-hmm.
Pizza,
Paladares.
Italian. Yeah, what is it?
Paladares.
Yeah. 100% that's the way to go.
Paladores.
If I were to do it all over again, big box at the front, big box at the rear, maybe, and I would Airbnb at hostel at the rest of the time. But book those in advance. Good?
Good.
See you kids next time. Arrivederci?
Au revoir.
Oh yeah, is it au revoir?
Konnichiwa.
Wait, how do you say it in Spanish?
Adios.
Yeah, adios amigos. Have fun.